Welcome, everyone. Welcome to the Happy Spot. My name is Jack Thomas. We're in New Jersey today. We are fortunate to have Dr. Kenneth Krieger coming to us from Arizona. Dr. Dona, always in the house, always adding a perspective. I want to just announce to everybody, this is a loose conversation about mental wellness. There are doctors in the room. We are not giving medical advice. So you always have to go refer to your doctors and make sure, but we are opening up the topic and conversations of biohacking. I'm originally from New York. I just spent Mother's Day. I was fortunate out on the Miracle Mile. And anyone who knows coming from New York, you know, where's in the Miracle Mile, you have some of the greatest hospitals and doctors in the world right there. What I find so interesting is about 2 miles from there where I grew up is one of the largest mental hospitals in the state of New York. It's called Creedmoor, 30-story building, been there since 1912, but yet we can't figure out mental wellness. We don't know what's going on. So is it in our mind? I'm a yogi. I practice yoga. My mind is constantly on the jitter. But now we have the chance of talking with Dr. Krieger, having tools, scanning methods. This man is bringing over European technology into our country. We're very fortunate. Dr. Krieger, please, brief overview of your history and wisdom that you bring to the table so we can appreciate as you share your thoughts.
Thanks, Jack. I appreciate the opportunity. I'm a retired chiropractic physician. I practiced 34 years. I had my own spinal rehab and spinal trauma clinic. I was seeing 100 patients a day for years, if you can imagine, and I finally injured myself to the point where I couldn't practice. So I began teaching for the largest essential oil company in the world. I traveled all over the globe to teach, and then I found this technology called a biophotonic scanner. And I've been doing this about the last year and a half, and it's revolutionizing and putting the nutrition industry on checkmate, because we can tell if you're absorbing your nutrients at a cellular level in 30 seconds, non-invasively, and it works better than blood.
This is great. So thank you. So this is a bioscanning tool?
It's called a biophotonic scanner. It uses Raman spectroscopy, and it looks deep into the dermis.
Hey, oh, easy, easy. I'm from New York. It sounds like you cursed me. I don't know, you're calling me names. Easy. Right. So our consumer out there are everyday people living extraordinary lives. And so sometimes when I sit with professionals like yourself, the language is above my pay grade. And I'm humbled to say, keep it simple for the silly guy over here, please. But I'd love to hear more about that.
Okay, it uses a light. How's that? A specific light. And we do this on the hand. It was originally funded by the National Institutes of Health, and it was through the Bio-Optical Medical Department at the University of Utah. They were looking at the eye in age-related macular degeneration and realized that it was about the carotenoid amounts in the eyes, and then they realized that this could be done in the hand. And the technology used to be the size of an MRI machine. Now it's the size of a small American football. And we put $160 million into the technology to get it where it is today. It's fabulous. Again, it's non-invasive and it's more accurate than blood.
So this is great. So thank you so much for that. I'm going to pull the conversation a little high level. I'd gone to your website and I love what I see out there. I was just curious about the European part, that it came over from Europe originally, the technology. And the reason why I ask is because I was in Portugal last year, in Porto, at the world's largest happiness event. They had 8,000 professionals and the HR community in Portugal. And first of all, what a great country, great people. But truly, it was a happy, moving event. So when I looked at that, I was like, I find things different over in Europe, right? So I'm just kind of curious, is that where it started? Why over there? And what's going on there that we're not doing here?
Actually, it started in the US with Dr. Raman. It is, our company does business in 54 countries worldwide, and we're bringing technology to the world so we can actually see if a person is healthy at a cellular level. And when they're healthy, they're going to be happy.
That is awesome. So thank you. So Dr. Donat, you were kind enough to introduce us to Dr. Krieger. So if you could share with us, how did the two of you get connected? What do you see here? Because I always trust your wisdom and judgment for all of our fans that are out there. Dr. Donat, a practicing attorney. She's in New Jersey. She has practiced in other states. So her perspective is, with wisdom in the marketplace. So curious your feedback here, please.
Got it. Thanks for having us on again. I am a practicing family practice physician. I did take a few law classes, but did not quite make it to the attorney stage. But I thank you, Dr. Krieger, for being on and for really introducing me to this phenomenal technology. So really quick, Larry, I have had so many patients come into the office, and maybe this is some of the audience, right? They feel tired, they go to the doctor, they get the blood work, 3 weeks, 4 weeks later, they go back in dragging, still tired, and the doctor goes, good news, your blood work is normal. And the patient is like, but I'm still tired, right? And so the technology that Dr. Krieger is developing along with his team, or the technology that exists right now, can actually look at the cellular level to see if what we see as doctors in the blood is actually penetrating into the cell. And also what it does is it allows us to see whether or not the supplements that we're taking, and I'll let Dr. K talk about this, right, is being absorbed by the body and by the cells, because, spoiler alert, 97% of what's over the counter is not being absorbed by the blood. And so not only does this technology exist to give us insight into what's going on in the body, but it also is paired with pharmaceutical grade supplements that actually do penetrate the body and offer a lot more than what is available over the counter. So Dr. Krieger is being so humble, but this is groundbreaking and revolutionary, and really a big, big win for the wellness industry.
This is great. And so in the wellness industry, I'm a yogi. I've been practicing for over 30 years, started in Queens, presently now taking teacher training class at Jaipur in Montclair. A big shout out to my instructors, to Lauren and Marcy. Lauren just got engaged. Probably not supposed to say it, but welcome here. But living in that world, we also have people that are doctors that are in that world. We that are reverends and rabbis and people that are listening all day. Who are going to be your people that you're targeting for your program? Are they going to be doctors, physical therapists? What's kind of your thought process going out there? Or is this anybody that will become a professional can have access to to offering your services?
Right. So that's a two-prong answer. The first answer is everyone under the sound of my voice, their family and their friends should really try this biophotonic scanner, and they will definitely see that they are deficient. It doesn't matter how well they eat. It doesn't really matter how much they exercise, because the nutrition isn't what it was, let's say 50 years ago. Okay. The second target is the healthcare practitioners. So as a physician, I can impact patients one-on-one. Fun fact, the highest number of patients I saw in one day is 86. 86 patients in one day. That's a lot of patients. But for argument's sake, that means I'm impacting 86 patients per day. Whereas if I can impact 86 providers per day, then those 86 can themselves impact 86, and that's an exponential increase in the impact that we can make. And it's not just targeted towards physicians. Dr. Krieger is a chiropractor. We have nutritionists. We have physical therapists. We even have gyms that have put this into their facility to really help their patients and their clients get a more well-rounded sense of wellness. So you go to the gym, you work out, but you're not recovering. Why is that? Let's stop by the scanner and see what's going on. We have ice boxes, cryotherapy suites, medical spas. So this is really good for many people.
That's great. And I was putting my hand up because it's so much good information. I just wanted to pause so I could resonate to take that in. Dr. Krieger, Arizona, where you live, what would be the difference of the air and how the tool measures someone's wellness versus in the East Coast where our air is at a different level? You know, you're originally from Colorado, the Mile High, is the air, right? Does it affect the reading or any of the static data?
Great question. The difficulty with anything that we do is we are getting free radical oxidative stress on our body. The air we breathe, the water we drink, the foods that we eat. And what the scanner actually does is it measures the inflammatory response and the ability of the body to ward off oxidation. So we're actually measuring these little cells within the cell called the carotenoids. They are what protect the center of the cell before it becomes a physical problem. So the more carotenoids you have, the greater your health is going to be. Actually, Dr. Richard Cutler, who used to be the director of the National Institutes of Health, said this: the amount of antioxidant carotenoids you have in your body will determine your lifespan. So if a person has a low score, we need to help them raise their score so that they have a better ability to have wellness. And again, when they are well, they'll be happy. Ask Steve Jobs if he'd come back and give his billions back to come back healthy. I bet he would.
You know, when you talk of that high level, and I think of billions, I read the paper every day, New York Post, right? And I see Melinda just took a couple of billions, you know, so we're just trying to get out to the regular everyday people that are, you know, in that New York, New Jersey area and that mental wellness and seeing all these great things that are going on. We're going to break, you know, in a moment. So I was going to open up another big question, but I'm going to just pause here and I'll give you a little bit of my thought pattern. Is having tools. I came from a family business. We sold tools, and it had everything to do with cars and fixing it and all the different materials that happen. And so it's great to see some of these new tools that are coming out here, because I know when I go to visit my doctor, and I haven't been there in years, I try and avoid the regular practitioners because they just want to pump you up full of medicine or whatever it is. They want to always take an X-ray. And so how will this compare to an X-ray? And that's where we'll kind of pick up the conversation when we come back from break, and touching upon X-ray, defibrillators, tools, and kind of in the marketplace, following up some of the conversations we had before we hopped on. We're going to go to break, and we're going to listen to the binaural beats as they just settle us into the next conversation.
Are you a conscious co-creator? Are you on a quest to raise your vibration and your consciousness? I'm Sam Leibowitz, your conscious consultant, and on my show, The Conscious Consultant Hour, Awakening Humanity, we will touch upon all these topics and more. Listen live at our new time on Thursdays at 12 noon Eastern Time. That's The Conscious Consultant Hour, Awakening Humanity, Thursdays 12 noon on TalkRadio.nyc.
Are you a high-achieving, growth-oriented leader? Are you interested in developing your authentic leadership while creating a healthy, inclusive workplace? Hi, I'm Dr. Mira Brancu, host of The Hard Skills on TalkRadio.nyc at 5 p.m. Eastern on Tuesdays, where we discuss how leaders develop the hard skills needed to make a greater impact. We interview experts, have live coaching, and tackle these challenges. Listen to The Hard Skills on Tuesday at 5 p.m. Eastern on TalkRadio.nyc.
Are you a business owner? Do you want to be a business owner? Do you work with business owners? Hi, I'm Stephen Fry, your small and medium-sized business, or SMB guy, and I'm the host of the new show, Always Friday. While I love to have fun on my show, we take those Friday feelings of freedom and clarity to discuss popular topics on the minds of SMBs today. Please join me and my various special guests on Friday at 11 a.m. on TalkRadio.nyc.
You're listening to Talk Radio NYC. Uplift, educate, empower.
Thank you, everybody. We're coming back. We have Dr. Krieger, talking with us today about bioscanning, and Dr. Dona. Dr. Dona is in New Jersey, and Dr. Krieger is in Arizona. So we began the conversation about bioscanning, medical hacking, biohacking, everyday people, trying to get the information out there. We're going to dovetail into about what other tools so we could associate our mind, because sometimes the doctors, when they're talking with us, they're really sophisticated in how they're explaining it. But sometimes for me, as a tool guy, I like to just kind of relate it to other things we may see as wellness. The area I want to focus on and stay still with the mind. And so I'm going to go back to a topic. We had a group back a few weeks ago on the ISO 45003, and it's about the psychosociology of wellness in businesses. And so that's my personal targeted area as a chief happiness officer, getting into corporations, sitting with the CEO, the CFO, and saying, hey, we know everybody has a mental problem. The other day, I'm in a middle class neighborhood car wash. I have one of the ladies that's wiping the car. I asked her a question. She starts yelling and hollering. And you could just see it was just pure stress. And I got her to smile and laugh, but everybody's so stressed out. So the employers today, when I used to do risk management for a large insurance company, we had the checklist of all the different tools that had to be there, right? And so if you're in an office, you'd have to have peroxide, you'd have to have Band-Aids, you'd have to have aspirin. And then over the years, this tool called a defibrillator, excuse my pronunciation, I'm not the best, defibrillator for your heart. Well, what about your mind? So as employers, is this an area where that tool could fit in there? And this is for Dr. Krieger, please.
Well, definitely. Again, health is that's our most important earthly possession, is our health. And if an employee stays healthy, they're not going to miss work. They won't have the difficulty doing their job as they normally would. And it only makes sense for any corporation to make sure that it's about wellness of their employees. And it's not just physical wellness. When you're physically well, you will have more ability to be mentally well, emotionally fit. And I say there's these 6 spokes in the wheel of life: mental, physical, spiritual, emotional, family, and money. And if one of them is out of balance, life will be out of balance. And the one we're targeting is the mental, physical, and emotional health. And that will keep an employee healthy and happy.
Well, that is great. I will share with you, as you use the 6 spokes, it's the blending. And so where I grew up out in Long Island, right on the border of Queens, Long Island, you had these major hospitals, and anytime we ever got hurt, whatever the doctor said, you just did. Now, over the years, I live in Jersey, raised my family. We also have great doctors. But what I have learned is some of the success models over in parts of New York are how the doctors exchange information and share, where there are certain communities that may be first generation, second generation, and they are doctors, but they don't move into sharing their controlling that information. I see that success of that cross-reference. How can your tool play into that cross-reference model? What I'm trying to plant some seeds in your mind on how we get that going through in the medical community and that cross-reference of doctors.
Number one, you have to know how well a person is. If they don't feel healthy, and if they aren't physically able to do what they should be able to do at their age and with the types of foods that they eat, we have a big problem in this country. It's called obesity. And this is one of the tools that we can use to help reduce the obesity crisis that we have, and also the mental.
Elaborate on that for me, please, because I hear you, the obesity and the sugar and all of it. So how does that tool help with obesity? Instead of the shot, the oxy, what is that tool? The Ozempic. Ozempic, right? So right. So you have this medicine out there. You have this tool. How does your tool help with obesity? please?
Well, I call it the biophotonic scanner. You should call it the lifestyle lie detector, because it will tell me when I scan someone and when Dr. Nanat scans someone, what their lifestyle is like. Again, most people in the United States scan between 23 and 24,000 on the scale that we use. And we want people over 50,000. I've scanned hundreds of people in the last year and a half, and I've only had 13 people over 50,000. That gives you an idea. So if their lifestyle is changed because we can tell what they're eating, basically, their score, then, did you lose me? Okay. Because of their score, then we can tell them what they should eat and what supplementation they should have in order to increase their scanner score and obviously cellular health.
This is just great information. And so on the cellular health, it really makes me think while I'm in my yoga class and yoga meditation, and that may not be for everybody, but it is the thought process of getting to the cellular aspect of the wellness. For the brain, the mind, does the tool scan just organs? Does it go to the liver? Does it take the whole body? Does it pick up on the brain, the kidneys? What is the tool scanning?
It's actually looking at those small tidbits within the cell. I'll use that term, called carotenoids. And the carotenoids are like if you have a football team, you have the offensive line is protecting the quarterback, and the quarterback is like the center of the cell. You lose a couple of those linemen, the quarterback's in trouble. And that's basically what we're doing. We're finding out what their cellular wellness is, and if they have enough carotenoids, overall their body's going to function better. And that would be every organ, tissue, and cell.
That's great. So in this segment of tools, other tools that I look at are large government entities, and I call them tools because they're usually forcing people to do something with tools, i.e. OSHA. So on this psychosociology we were looking at, it is ISO certified. It's international recognized, and we understand there are large corporations, the billion-dollar corporations that are implementing this psychosociology with OSHA. Do you ever see this partnering up with OSHA or being of a tool that would be something OSHA should know about?
Well, I believe OSHA should know about it, but we're walking on thin ice when it comes to government entities, because they will try to control what we're doing, and we're already globally patented. No one can copy us. Our supplement therapies are globally patented. We don't need the FDA approval because we sell our supplementation therapies in Australia, and their standards are twice what they are in the US. So we have to meet their standards. And so we know that they work. And again, we scan someone, their scanner score is low. We put them on the right supplement therapies. In 60 days, we rescan them. If they don't improve their scanner score, they get their money back. No one in the world is doing this except for us.
Wow. And so on the supplements, you want to elaborate on that for us a little bit?
Oh, I'd be happy to. The company was started by three men who were in big pharma. One was the inventor of the birth control pill, one was the inventor of the statin drug, and the other was the chief chemist at Wyatt Ayerst Labs. And they started this company because they knew that the future was in nutraceuticals, in health and wellness, not in pharmaceuticals. So we have 75 full-time scientists that get information from 126 universities worldwide. And there are 12 different disciplines. Don't you believe and think that they would have the most information that anyone would ever have? No one does what we're doing. And the great thing is all our supplement therapies are also patented. And that's an amazing thing to say. And we're also listed in the physician's desk reference that has all of the medications that a physician can prescribe. And you have to have double-blind, placebo-tested clinical trials in order to be in that book. Dr. Donat will back me up on that one.
So what's the name of the supplement company?
It's called Pharmanex. That means new pharmaceuticals is really what it's named for.
So living in the state of New Jersey, I think we have the largest amount of global headquarters in the state of New Jersey. I just find it so interesting. I just kind of throw that out there. I can't believe within a half-hour radius, there have to be at least, right, Dr. Donat, 6 major corporate pharmaceutical companies worldwide. And it's just amazing how large some of these companies are. And the mental wellness problem, again, as I go back to, we're in North Jersey, New York, and we're still not able to solve these things. Do you think, Dr. Donat, how much, if you're on 100%, right, let me go simple. 10 is great, 1 is horrible. How much of the nutrition has made us horrible in our wellness, our overall wellness?
So nutrition is a big problem, right? And Dr. Krieger and I had a very interesting conversation a few weeks ago about the quality of food, how it's declined over the last 50 years due to the change in soil, the pressure to produce higher volume versus quality, the antibiotics that are being given to the animals, et cetera, and the fertilizer that's being put, right, and the pesticides that's being put onto the field. It's really decreasing the quality of the food. And so remind me again, Dr. K, this is a very good conversation. An apple today, or an apple 50 years ago, is how many apples today in terms of nutrition?
Well, I like to use the orange. I know where you're going, yes. I was told by one of the scientists that if we took an orange from 1950 and had its nutritive value intact with us, how many oranges would we have to eat today to get the same nutritive value as an orange in 1950? And I guessed 4, and I think Dr. Donat guessed 5. I can't remember exactly, but the scientist.
How about you, Larry? What's your guess?
Larry, what's your guess?
The way you're talking now, I want to go 12.
Okay, hold on to your hats. 21.
Wow.
So the nutritive value in food is just obscure, I'll put it that way. And the foods don't taste like they used to. I grew up on the farm and we had fantastic food. And the vegetables and fruits just don't taste the same anymore because they don't have the value they used to.
Correct.
I want to pick up, we're going to go to break in a moment, on organic foods. I work and represent a couple of writers and hedge funds that target organic foods. And, you know, so I say to him, I'll go to the supermarket, I'm not going to name the market, and I'm trying to buy organic food. He's like, some things really are organic and some are not. But that's where we'll pick it up. And also we want to know about cost factors, because everyday people living extraordinary lives, right? In New York, New Jersey, we go, how much? And on that note, we'll be back in a moment. Thank you, everybody.
Hey everybody, it's Tommy D, the nonprofit sector connector, coming at you from my attic. Each week here on TalkRadio.nyc, I host a program, Philanthropy in Focus. Nonprofits impact us each and every day, and it's my focus to help them amplify their message and tell their story. Listen each week at 10 a.m. Eastern Standard Time until 11 a.m. Eastern Standard Time, right here on TalkRadio.nyc.
Were you an essential worker during the pandemic? If you needed to learn stages of epilepsy, did you depend on advocates? Did you use new innovations to cope with mental and neurological issues? Maintaining high quality of life and keeping good mental health are what we all strive for. I'm Frank R. Harrison, host of Frank About Health, and each week top healthcare influencers, professionals, and innovators answer these questions and more. Stay tuned on Thursdays at 5 p.m. on TalkRadio.nyc, and I will continue to be frank about health with all of you.
Are you a business owner? Do you want to be a business owner? Do you work with business owners? Hi, I'm Stephen Fry, your small and medium-sized business, or SMB guy, and I'm the host of the new show, Always Friday. While I love to have fun on my show, we take those Friday feelings of freedom and clarity to discuss popular topics on the minds of SMBs today. Please join me and my various special guests on Friday at 11 a.m. on TalkRadio.nyc.
You're listening to Talk Radio NYC at www.talkradio.nyc. Now broadcasting 24 hours a day.
Welcome back to the Happy Spot. My name is Jack Thomas. We're here in New Jersey, bringing through happiness. How do we do it? We biohack. We bring concepts and ideas and professionals to talk about the things you never believe people talk about. And that is mental wellness, health. We have Dr. Krieger coming to us from Arizona, Dr. Donat in New Jersey. We are working in conversations with an international company, but they're focused local. The reason why I bring that up is because Dr. Donat and I have had business conversations on a regular basis with people around the world. We defer to ourselves as entrepreneurs. And so why that's important is an entrepreneur is the word that we all see used all the time. The word entrepreneur came from a book about global class, and it talks about scaling globally, but still focusing local, and that being critical. So I'm going to come into something I think local, New Jersey. We're famous for our tomatoes. We're actually famous also for our cranberries. We are the Garden State. I think we are the epicenter of the world, if not at least the country. 80% of the cranberries come from South Jersey. But tomatoes. So Dr. Donat made reference earlier, our food has changed. We all know that. 50 years ago, I actually think I have read the story about the first big food change was when the McDonald's Big Mac wanted that tomato to fit perfectly on the burger. And then they did the same. They made the perfect French fries. Still, they're addicting. You can't help it. It's like crack. You walk in there, you eat those fries, you're just going to eat them all. The tomatoes, right now, we all know that these foods don't have those flavors as we knew them, as we made reference before, but they're perfect now. So at what point in society do we say, oh my gosh, my food is no longer serving me, right? Do we switch back on the organic foods? We go to supermarkets, right? And in certain communities, you don't even have choice of organic foods. In other communities, you do have, and then people go, oh my gosh, it's too much money. What's going on with the organic foods out here, with the supplements? And I know we started touching upon that. So Dr. Donat, I'd love to hear some of your feedback on what's going on with organic foods.
So let's think about it this way. There are times when we buy organic, right? As a consumer, we go to the supermarket and we buy the organic. But when we go to the farm and we look at the organic farm, I step across the fence and that's the regular farm. What would make it organic is the soil and what's put on it in terms of pesticides, etc. So let's say theoretically, we only spray the pesticides on the non-organic side. Well, the wind does not discriminate. It will gladly pick up the pesticides from one side and bring it to the other side. And so whereas the theory is it's organic, is it really organic? That's my first thought. And I'll have Dr. Krieger elaborate a little bit further. But for me, the best bet really is if you can find it. And I know it's hard because we were talking to people who might be in food deserts, right? We're talking in a very difficult economy, would be farm to table, if at all possible, right? So that you're ensuring that it's mom and pop. They put less industrial, more love into growing the products. And so it's has more integrity, let's put it that way.
Sure, and I appreciate that. And during the pandemic, living in New Jersey, it was great shipping, delivering direct, very easy. I did read about a large company in New York, New Jersey, and they're delivering food, and they were part of a very large supermarket chain, but they're losing money. They're not profitable. Truck, gas, electric, all the expenses going up. So costs are going up and quality of nutrients are going down. So share with me how these supplements can bridge that until we have answers in the future.
I'm sorry.
Yeah.
Okay.
Open floor on that question, guys. I'm sorry.
No problem. I like the question. The question is awesome because we try to shop at farmers markets here. And the reason why is just what Dr. Donat said. It is absolutely essential that the product is grown organically, if it's truly organic. Now, there are certain supplements, they'll say organic on them, and they only have to be 4% organic to be called organic. Does that make any sense? It makes no sense whatsoever. So all of the raw ingredients, there has to be something to bridge the gap because we're not getting the nutrition from the food. And 97% of supplementation does not work at a cellular level. So what we do is we get raw ingredients from all over the world. They're tested 4 times. They make sure that everything is exactly as the supplier says it is. If it's not, it is not used. And guess what? They sell it to somebody else. And then it's tested twice during manufacturing and again after manufacturing. We're the only company in the world that does it that way. And the reason why, we want it to be perfect. How can you guarantee the absorption of a supplementation therapy unless it actually absorbs at a cellular level? And that's why we can, because we have the finest raw ingredients in the world, and we can bridge that gap.
Great, thank you.
And speaking on bridging, I just want to point this out, right? If we're thinking of squeezing 21 oranges, right? That's the equivalent for nutrition. It's easier to fit it into a bottle once you've distilled it versus eating 21 oranges, right? And so it really helps to pack in the macronutrients, to really pack in the substances that we need when we think of it that way versus trying to supplement by eating. We would be eating all day, really, to get what we need.
Got it, and love that. And so where my next question goes in, if we're going to look to make a big impact and a big change, cost factors, right? So I know today that, listen, I used to buy a slice of pizza. So my addiction, right? It doesn't matter. It could be 10 in the morning at 2 at night. If I walk by a pizza place, I don't know, I'm getting a slice. And I think they used to be $1, right? 2. Now it's like $4, $5. And if they have, right? And everybody wants a tip now. So now I'm tipping on top of that too, right? And the pizza it's now $5. So I could say, all right, now I'm going to go out to dinner later. I'm going to go get, right, whatever food I'm going to get. I'll get Chinese food for dinner and it's going to cost X. Cost-wise, if someone said, you know what, for the next month, I'm not going to go to the supermarket at all, and this is just going to be my food. What's that cost a person, right? An average, age, you pick it. What's the cost?
And who are you asking?
Either one. I just kind of throw it
Okay.
out.
Dr. Donat, I'm going to take this approach.
Absolutely.
If you're getting the nutrients from the organic farm, let's say, you don't have to eat as much to get the same or better nutritive value. So in the long run, what does good health cost? What does it really cost? I tell people good health doesn't cost, it pays. You don't have to pay a copay to go into the doctor if you stay healthy. That's the idea.
Slow down. I'm with you. I'm just trying to get a base foundation that your average family, your regular people they got a budget for their family. I used to go supermarket shopping, right? As a married family, it cost us $200. Today, as a single person, it's still costing me $150, and I'm by myself. So did the food go up that much more? And so if I want to offset my weekly cost and say, no food, I just eat supplements, can I do this for $30 a week?
Supplementation can be done for that, yes, much less than $80 a month to get all of what you need. But you do need the food. You have to have the roughage and you have to have the food. So I think that we spend about 10% more where we go to the farmer's market than we would at a regular grocery store. So to me, it's minimal.
I agree 100%. Thank you for that. I just kind of had to get that number in my head. So that was awesome. Going back to cost factors, we didn't really get to touch upon it before. And I know I was just curious, the light therapy. Dr. Donat, how much would that cost? And do they have to come every week? Like when I go, so right now, just for perspective on wellness, I go to an eye doctor, right? Once a year. I go to a dentist 2 to 3 times a year. I'll go to a dermatologist because I got skin issues, right? And then I'm going to go acupuncture, yoga, right? All the things that I'm doing for me to get my overall play in here. I know the cost. What would cost look like, and how often does someone go? I go to my acupuncturist. I said, I'm only going to come to you for 1 month. I don't want to get addicted to you, right? Because our bodies get addicted.
Absolutely.
So, if you could share with me some of your thoughts here, please.
Absolutely. So let's say I connected with your acupuncturist and we decided we're going to put a biophotonic scanner into his or her office, his office. You go once a month, that would be sufficient. So your first visit, and correct me if I'm overstepping, Dr. Kraker, maybe about $30 for your first assessment. Then you get your supplements, which are a little bit less than $80, right? And then the next time you go in for your assessment, we just want to see, are the supplements really absorbing into your body? Which 97%, yes. That does not cost you anything. You follow up the following month, you want to get an assessment just to see where your health is. Again, it does not cost you anything. The first assessment is the cost. You're in. All right, we got one.
I'm in. You got me. I love it. I love it. I love it. Thank you for that. And the reason why I love it is because it's putting numbers that make sense. But I want to touch upon the supplement part just real quick because we're going to go to break in a moment. I take supplements now. I take magnesium, I take iron and vitamin B12, which, by the way, thank you, doctor, because that's part of the recipe for our mental wellness, which if somebody goes out to Jack, right, you go out to Jack Thomas at the Happy Spot on the internet, and I'm giving away my remedy of mental wellness in lieu of taking drugs. So thank you for helping me to organize myself, Dr. Dona. So to the question though, I lost my thought right there, went on too many tangents. We're going to shift to break in a moment. We will come back and we will pick that up. Thank you, everybody. And I'm glad I could bring some smiles on the faces here. Hopefully out there, we're going to break. Be right back.
Are you a high-achieving, growth-oriented leader? Are you interested in developing your authentic leadership while creating a healthy, inclusive workplace? Hi, I'm Dr. Mira Brancu, host of The Hard Skills on TalkRadio.nyc at 5 p.m. Eastern on Tuesdays, where we discuss how leaders develop the hard skills needed to make a greater impact. We interview experts, have live coaching, and tackle these challenges. Listen to The Hard Skills on Tuesday at 5 p.m. Eastern on TalkRadio.nyc.
Hey everybody, it's Tommy D, the nonprofit sector connector, coming at you from my attic. Each week here on TalkRadio.nyc, I host the program Philanthropy in Focus. Nonprofits impact us each and every day, and it's my focus to help them amplify their message and tell their story. Listen each week at 10 a.m. Eastern Standard Time until 11 a.m. Eastern Standard Time, right here on TalkRadio.nyc.
Are you a conscious co-creator? Are you on a quest to raise your vibration and your consciousness? I'm Sam Leibowitz, your conscious consultant, and on my show, The Conscious Consultant Hour, Awakening Humanity, we will touch upon all these topics and more. Listen live at our new time on Thursdays at 12 noon Eastern Time. That's The Conscious Consultant Hour, Awakening Humanity, Thursdays, 12 noon on TalkRadio.nyc.
You're listening to Talk Radio NYC at www.talkradio.nyc. Now broadcasting 24 hours a day.
Thank you. Coming back to the Happy Spot. Jack Thomas here, Dr. Krieger, Dr. Dona. We've been talking about bioscanning, how to help your health, focused around the mental wellness, the fact of fees and cost. Question is, how do you go about getting this information? If you want help, where can you go? I don't know, they're in 54 countries. We stay as entrepreneurs. We're going to stay local in our service. Dr. Dona, you're local here. People can reach out to the Happy Spot. We can refer you right there. Dr. Krieger, you're out on the internet world. If people want to reach out to you, there's contact points out there. Any information you want to throw out so people know how to reach out to you?
About that. There we go. They can reach me by their by the internet through my business email is Dr. K at Bioscan, Bioscan, med, technologies.com. And I want to show you, I know the audience can't see it, but this is the size of the scanner now. So you can give them an idea. It's very small, very portable, and they can move it from office to office if a physician has more than one location. So they're very convenient.
It's great. You're on mute.
I said the physician can also be mobile, going from site to site and just really getting a group of patients together who are interested in their health and wellness.
That is great. So we've gone over wellness, we've gone over scanning, we've gone over distribution. What are some things that you find really interesting, Dr. Krieger, that you've learned over time that we haven't touched upon that you'd want to share with other professionals in the marketplace so they could follow up and learn more?
Another great question. I love your questions, Jack. You're right on point. I have seen people in the pharmacy, I won't say which ones, but all of them basically, standing in the aisle, looking at all the supplementation that's there and wondering, what should I take and what's going to work? I tell physicians, do not send them to the pharmacies or to the big box stores because their supplementation doesn't work. One of the large retailers admitted that their supplements were fake. And so I tell them,
how do they get away with that? Like when we hear, like I hear the word fake, like I think of Fugazi, right? You come out of New York, Fugazi, there's a whole guy, Fugazi limousine, that becomes like a fake. You're a Fugazi. So how does your food become Fugazi? Like, how does that even happen?
Well, they have ways around it. Money talks. And unfortunately, the big corporations can do what they choose to do and get away with it. So that's why people say, well, how can you make a change, Dr. K? Hey, you can't eat an elephant all at once. You eat it one bite at a time. And we're doing the best we can to change that focus for physicians to know that it's about the wellness of their patient that makes the big difference. They're going to heal better after a surgery. They're going to have less mental stress. They're going to sleep better. All of the things that are necessary for good health.
So this is great. So question, I target corporations, $100 to $400 million corporations. A lot of them are managing their own risk. They self-insure their employees' wellness. They do a variety of different things. And I've sat in rooms when they're making changes for wellness. Usually takes anywhere from 12 to 18 months at a minimum to start seeing some wellness changes. With this scanning tool, do you think maybe it can speed that up because we're getting more data faster, quicker? Or does the data just still take time to analyze on the body and see how that goes?
Again, great question. Right now, we've had 30 million scans, and we get data from what the absorption is, what different parts of the world absorb differently. It's amazing to see the data that's coming. And they get a scanner within their facility. They know right away whether that person is healthy at a cellular level. Get them on product in 60 days, they rescan them, see what their changes are, and they know that they're going to be well more often than not because they're getting the nutrition at the cell.
That is great. That is great to hear. Dr. Donat, any pieces you'd want to chime in on some of these things that you have learned? Because I know I've been around Dr. Donat. I know her brain can hear 5 different things at the same time. So for our local people, right, because I know, right, that we serve multiple communities, what are some things that you've learned that other people should know about?
I really want the audience to know that there are true wellness options out there. Many a times we stop when the doctor says your labs are normal, but we still feel poorly, right? So, and I have the advantage of seeing this both as a physician and as a patient, always wellness focused, really knowing that there are options out there that can do a better job of assessing and options out there that can do a better job of treating and really providing health and wellness.
So I have a couple of questions here, and input would be great. So coming from the automotive business where I come from and being around characters, and over time I learned that there are three types of people I talk to. And they're the arrogant people that know everything, and I just give them empathy. And then there's ignorant people, and I just give them empathy. And then when I recognize that they're arrogant and ignorant, I run away. And in the medical community, I find this even with people that I'm good friends with, and I won't say their names, and I'm good friends with, and they really, when they want to help you from a medical well-being and giving you their perspective, and they're genuinely with their heart. And then when I pause for a moment, I say, okay, then come to do yoga with me because your back is hurting you and you want to avoid surgery. Right? Help me out to help them, right? So I don't have to keep going to my therapist saying, I want to kill the guy. It's not right.
Well, I understand where you're coming from. Hey, I started as a chiropractor in 1972. I don't know if you realize last week I turned 75. And I came out of retirement to do this because this is so important for people to understand what true health and wellness is.
Wait, hold on. You're 75. I want to take whatever you're taking. Send me some supplements.
I will. I'll get some to you.
You look great.
Well, thank you. I appreciate that.
And better, do you feel? How do you feel? You look great, but how do you feel? That's the important part.
Well, I'm functioning normally because my scanner score is very good and I feel fantastic. I can outdo most 50-year-olds, and I do all the time at the gym. People are amazed, and I'm very blessed. I'll put it that way. But I'm doing the right thing, and that's getting the health to the cellular level and getting the nutrition there. And when you have that at the cellular level, you're going to be healthy.
Okay, so I'm going to chime in on that cellular level. So for myself, I had gotten hurt playing sports as a kid, skiing, blah, blah, blah. And that's what put me into yoga and all this wellness in lieu of surgery. And just recently, my acupuncturist put me with this Japanese woman, 70 years old, at an acupuncture school because he said my case was troubling. He couldn't figure it out. Part of it was my body, but also I came from the painting world and the automotive world. I spent over 25 years painting cars in that smoked cloud room all the time. And they were talking about my body in my cellular level, still having some of these chemicals trapped. And I'm out of that business now, probably over 20 years, but they have me in my mind saying that at that cellular level, I'm contaminated still, and the acupuncture is supposed to help. How does this help? And again, I'm an everyday guy, right? Living an extraordinary life. How does that really help? The cellular level with all the paint chemical fumes, they're still in my body?
Mm-hmm. Let me give you this example. Let's say you had a Ferrari, but the engine was only running on 6 cylinders instead of 12. It may look good on the outside, but on the inside, it's not functioning to its capacity. And what cellular wellness is allowing that cell to function to its best capacity. That's just the easiest way to say it. Let's have you firing on all 12 cylinders, Jack. That's going to change your life.
So thank you for that. And so when you say Ferrari as a New York guy, I won't name the guy's name, but I did have a client that had 92 Ferraris in Manhattan in a parking garage. And it was the most beautiful thing I'd ever seen in my life. Whether you're a Ferrari, you have to love the beauty, great symbol of the automotive industry. We're coming up on our show is going to come to an end in a moment. So I really want to give each one of you a final 10, 15, 20 second, what you would like to share that is important for the next step for our community in knowing about you, Dr. Dona, first.
Excellent. Thank you. And thank you, Dr. Krieger. Wonderful time today. One thing that I want to leave with the audience is that there are innovations that are coming in healthcare that will supplement what's already there. We'll touch upon this on the next episode, but our healthcare system is overwhelmed. Dare I say it is broken. And so I'm really excited that there are ways that we providers who really are in it to take care of patients, there are tools, there are technologies out there that we can actually use to bring true health and wellness.
Thank you. And Dr. Krieger, an honor to have you join us here today with your years of wisdom. You get the final say.
Well, I appreciate that, Jack. Thank you for having me. And Dr. Donat is the best. I'll just put it that way. Those who are local can get a hold of her. She's going to have a scanner very shortly, and she'll be able to tell them about their cellular wellness. And I want physicians to go ahead and contact me. I'll speak to anyone, anytime, and let them know what this can do for their patients and also for their revenue stream.
Well, thank you both so much. So as we move to the end of our show, it's the binaural beats, it's the sounds. So for me, I try and stay focused on the different senses. So, you know, what I see, beautiful. What I hear, binaural. And now I know I can get some new flavors and get back to health. Thank you. Thank you to the audience out there. Hopefully everyone enjoyed it, and may you have your happy spot today.